First, today, Pennsylvania Governor Tom Corbett removed Perry from his campaign video. So what would be next? Well, to try to answer that question, we're going to turn to a political panel this evening, the same that we had in here on Friday evening when this all broke. This is Jenard Jenkins with the Harris County Democratic Party. Kathleen McKinley is the political blogger for the Houston Chronicle. Joe Slovacek is with the Harris County Republican Party, and Sue Davis is a Democratic campaign strategist. Thank you all again for joining us. Jenard, I started with you Friday night, so I'm going to do that again today. When this all broke Friday, we really didn't know how this was going to play politically. I suppose that question still needs to be answered, but from reading over the weekend, a lot of Democratic and left-leaning newspapers and other people don't seem to be giving this a lot of weight. Some are saying, even opponents of the governor, that this is pretty flimsy. How do you respond to that?
Well, that's true. We've heard a lot of people on the left come out and say that they're a little bit skeptical about the charges that are against the governor, why they were levied and so forth. But the interesting part about it is that we still have not heard a denial from the governor that he used the power of his office in order to try to compel a resignation by the Travis County DA. If he did that, then he is guilty of the charges that were levied against him on Friday. If he did not, then he should step forward and say so, not just simply say, well, you know, this is just attacks of the left, this is just liberals, these are just Democrats. If you did not do it, then you should say so.
I heard a big sigh from Joe Slovacek here, so Joe, I'm going to have you weigh in here.
If you're an independent voter, this shows you the heart and soul of the Democratic strategy. If you can't beat them, indict them. I said it last Friday, and I'll stand on that proposition. This is about the district attorney and her lack of integrity and how she operates her own office. The governor was indicted for being the governor. Bad call on the Democrats' part.
Sue, there are prominent Democrats who feel that this might ultimately help Governor Perry if he runs for president, because he can say, see, the Democrats are out to get us. I did nothing wrong. I used the line item veto that I'm allowed to use, and now they're trying to sue me out of running.
Well, let's talk about what this is about. This is about an abuse of power by an elected official. It's not about Rosemary Lemberg. It's not about President Obama. It's not about a Democratic conspiracy. It's about somebody, and it's also not about whether Democrats are worried about Rick Perry becoming president. There may be things that keep me awake at night. That's not one of them. This is about someone who violated a law that was written to protect you and me from elected officials, Republicans and Democrats, from abuse of power.
Do you think it was really an abuse in this case? That someone who roundly people believed should not have maintained the office she was in wouldn't leave, and he said, look, if you don't leave, I'm not going to fund your office because the public doesn't trust you anymore.
Well, he had the right to veto the funding. He did not have the right to veto it as a condition of her leaving the office. And if he was so upset about Rosemary Lemberg staying in office when she had been arrested and convicted of drunk driving, let's talk about the other two Texas district attorneys who were arrested and convicted of drunk driving while Rick Perry was governor, and he did not demand their resignation. There was no outrage. We had the Kaufman County DA, who was arrested in 2009, convicted in 2011, his second DWI. The Swisher County District Attorney, who was involved in those reprehensible Tulia drug raids where dozens of innocent African Americans were sent to prison. Where was Rick Perry? Where's the outrage on those two?
I can hear Kathleen. I can feel her body language wanting to jump in here and tell us what you respond to that.
Well, I think maybe the outrage wasn't there because maybe they weren't found to have bought 72 bottles of vodka from one store alone in 1 year. I mean, I'm pretty sure this isn't the first time she put the public in danger in driving drunk. And in fact, I'd like to give kudos to the police that I think who put up with her abuse, who probably thought they may have risked their jobs, and they did the right thing and arrested her. And she tried to pull the "Do you know who I am" kind of card. It's those kind of things that make it outrageous. And look, can I just say one thing? The Democrats are saying that the veto of the funding was fine, but warning her that he was going to veto was wrong. I don't get that.
Well, I think the idea is whether it was a warning or a threat, and I guess ultimately a jury is going to have to determine that. Jenard, how's this going to play politically?
Well, I definitely think that on the Republican side, it has to hurt them. I mean, this man is the governor of the state of Texas. He is the head of the Republican Party here, and if he shows that he doesn't have integrity, and we know that these insider political games do go on in the Republican Party, it's going to trickle down and it's going to affect the outcome of the elections coming up in the fall. On the Democratic side, I mean, certainly this has to be a bolster to Wendy Davis and also Leticia Vanderpute and their prospects for taking statewide office.
We'll see, Joe.
Well, actually, I think the DA is a poster child for Wendy Davis. This is exactly what Wendy Davis needs. This district attorney and this video, good for her. The question for the independents is, who do you trust in Texas? Rick Perry, the best CEO we've ever had in the history of this state. Look at Rick Perry's record. Look at this district attorney's record. You look at the video, compare that to Rick Perry, and you tell me as an independent, who do you trust? I'm going to stay with Rick Perry.
All right, well, I'm going to have to end it on that because we're out of time. I know there's much more we can talk about, and again, this is an issue that's not going away anytime soon. Thank you all for joining us tonight.